Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Xen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Better, Brighter You segment, brought to you by Cyspera, the clinically proven pigment corrector trusted by dermatologists and plastic surgeons around the world. Today, we're talking about authentic beauty in an age of filters and fillers, how science-backed skincare and surgical artistry can coexist to reveal, not erase, what makes us unique. Joining me is Dr. Rafael Cabrera, one of South Florida's most respected plastic surgeons and founder of Plastic Surgery Specialists of Boca Raton. With over 25 years of experience, Dr. Cabrera has helped redefine modern aesthetics by combining advanced surgical techniques, regenerative approaches using autologous fat and stem cells, and next-generation non-invasive options like M-Sculpt Neo. He's also known for his honesty, his transparency, and natural-looking results, all while reminding us patients that the goal isn't perfection, it's confidence. We're going to go beyond the filter. Why results and real results start with real skin. Joining us right now is the incredible Dr. Rafael Cabrera on natural beauty, science, and that power of Cyspera. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Pleasure to be here.
So excited to kick this off. So let's start with the art and science of aesthetic balance, because there has to be a balance. We live in an era, without a doubt, Dr. Cabrera, you know this more than anyone, where social media has actually blurred that line between aspiration and illusion, right? Filters have become, if you call it, a modern day beauty standard. And that really often distorts what's real. And according, if you look at the stats, to the American Academy of Facial Plastic and reconstructive surgery, we got about 75% of surgeons that report that patients referencing social media filters when describing their goals is over the top. Now, you might be one of them, right? How do you help patients navigate between what they see online and what's realistically safe available in your chair?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, is the fact that I'm trying to help them navigate. The reality is that there's no way to avoid what's out there. But you have to recognize that a lot of what's out there is like little mines that you have to sort of float around and try to figure out what's the right part to do and what's the wrong part to do. You know, in terms of filters and what we see and how we perceive it, I think that today it's exaggerated, but it probably has always been the case. I remember growing up, there was a picture of my mom in the house when she was 16, and it was beautifully airbrushed, and this is from literally 80 years ago now. So I think that we have always tried to make ourselves appear in the best light, but with the social media being so immediate and so in our face, literally and figuratively, it is exaggerated. And unfortunately, when we used to look at that photo, we could tell that it was airbrushed, and we weren't fooled by that. But I think that people now look at these filters and they see that as their new reality, and that's where the problem is. And you're right, we have to help them see what's real, what's not real, what's possible, what's not possible, what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and all of the things in between.
And I love that. I love what you just said, helping patients chase confidence, not perfection. And that's your job, right? It's really refreshing to hear a surgeon talk about restraint as much as results. Now, let's chat about the evolution of beauty this year. The post-pandemic era really shifted trends dramatically. I mean, you have from preventative treatments among the Gen Z to biostimulating procedures in midlife. The industry is really evolving faster than ever. So what trends or demographic shifts are you noticing most this year, 2025, and how are they shaping your practice's philosophy going into 2026?
Well, I think every practice has its own philosophy because obviously it has its own little backyard to work in. And, nationally, I don't think there's any question that the biggest change has been the fact that the population has gotten younger. The people who are seeking treatments have gotten younger, and they understand the value of preventative treatments. But what's really interesting to me is that while we talk a lot about that, they have also dragged along the older age groups into this sort of sphere. It was always common for somebody who was in their 60s or late 50s or even later to consider a facelift. But I have patients in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who literally are on TikTok showing me things saying, hey, do you do this? Can you do this? And I saw this treatment. Is that something I can do? And I think that for a long time, that was a very untapped market when it came to the non-invasives and the fillers. But the growth is just exponential. It really is. But unfortunately, that also comes with it some problems where, not everybody can be treated at a surgeon's office or at a dermatologist's office. There are lots of satellite centers where people can get treatment. And oftentimes that's a real plus for them because their time is well spent and potentially financially it's a little easier on them. But it also opens them up to a possibility of things not being to a level or a standard that they require. So, it's not that I want to pump the brakes on it because I think it's a very exciting time to do what we're doing. But I think we still have to do it with our eyes open, understand that it's still medicine, it still has risks. Even the most non-invasive treatment has risks.
Now,
no
this is going to pivot very nicely when science meets skincare. So many people underestimate the power of medical grade skincare. You got people flocking to Sephora and Ulta, which, by the way, I don't even step foot into. I don't even buy my makeup or my skincare or my treatments from there. It's really just for the populace, right? A research published in Dermatologic Surgery found that proper home care can extend in-office results by up to 65% longer. So it's alluding to what you said. You can only do so much. It's what you do after the fact. Now, you've integrated medical grade skincare into your surgical and your non-surgical protocols, which I love. Why is it so essential for long-term patients, for long-term patient outcomes? What does that partnership look like with your patients?
Well, I tell people the first thing people notice about you is your skin. There's just no way around it. Before they notice you have a jowl or you have a marionette line, it's your skin. So without good skin, there is no surgical procedure that's going to be successful in the sense that it makes you rejuvenated.
Right.
And, so much of what you can do is free. We talk about the products but a lot of it is just understanding, as you said, what's good for you and what's not good for you. And taking the responsibility and accountability to be the captain of your skin.
Yeah.
So first things first, prevent, right? So that means be careful when you're out in the sun. Don't weather yourself unnecessarily. Hydrate your skin. You do those two things. If you use sunblock and moisturizer, you're way ahead of the game.
Right.
As you get older, you're going to need a little bit more help, naturally. But if you start young, you're going to get the benefits sooner and for longer. And if you're doing it because you invested money in a procedure, then yeah, it's going to last longer, just as if you keep your car in the garage after you wash it. You're just preventing the recurrence of that problem. So I think behavior is important. Listen, I know we live in a world where, immediate gratification is the way. And it's not sexy to say put sunblock on, but it works. It works. Yeah. And it will save you money, time, effort, risk, recovery, all of that in the future. But in terms of what's available now, oh my God, it's like a whole different world compared to when I started practice.
The toolbox is full.
Oh, it's not even a toolbox anymore. I mean, it's like a tool shed. It's different. It's funny. I have patients come in who, they think they need a facelift. And we will spend 5 minutes talking about the facelift because in the end, it's an anatomically driven procedure that I can explain very quickly in 5 minutes. Now, we may have to talk more, but it's easily understandable. I spend most of my time explaining skincare and why it's important. And when people get it, they really get the benefit from it. Right. And I have some patients, I had a patient come in today whose skin was pristine. And of course, she'd been doing it for 30 years. It's not by accident. Right. This idea that you're just lucky. Well, I guess it's good to be lucky, but you can make your own luck sometimes.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's like going to the gym, right? Like you don't get that 6-pack without, oh yeah, I was born like that. Like no, you weren't. So I love what you're saying. And now this brings me into the next topic, the Cyspera difference. So let's talk pigmentation, something that really affects all skin tones, yet is really misunderstood. And Cyspera has gained global attention for its patented cysteamine-based system, which is shown to significantly reduce hyperpigmentation without that hydroquinone or retinoids. And we know hydroquinone and retinoids, what that leads to long-term use. So what first drew you to incorporating Cyspera into your treatment plans? And what kind of real-world results or patient feedback have you seen so far?
Well, what drew me to Cyspera is it's a real paradigm shift in the way we consider hyperpigmentation. We have always looked at hyperpigmentation as something that needed to be erased, removed, whether it's with a laser or intense pulse light, with hydroquinone trying to change the skin properties. But imagine if we just were able to have this, encourage the skin, if you will, to make less brown and just make more pinks and yellows and make it more evenly. That's all you need to do. Now your skin looks normal again because it has the normal pigmentation. You have to understand that brown pigments are a sign of damage. So when you're making brown pigment, it's because you're damaging your skin. So if you eliminate the damage and you want to remove the brown pigments and avoid them from coming back, that's what Cyspera does. It has become a cornerstone of skincare in my practice. Even tone, even skin looks good. It's a novel solution and one that works better. And it's working at the root of the problem, at the manufacture of the pigment, instead of trying to get rid of it. So I think that really speaks to me. I like that kind of solution.
Yeah, that's great. And now let's talk about bridging procedures and prevention, because this is extremely important. The combination therapy system that most doctors' offices have in place seems to be the future, where injectables, lasers, and skincare all work in harmony. It's what we've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
And according to Real Self Insights of this year, 2025, they did a study. 87% of patients now prefer multimodal plans that combine procedures with skin maintenance. So how do you approach building these integrated regimens, and how do you personalize them based on, number one, age, because that's very, very indicative, lifestyle, or even skin type?
I think those are really important factors, especially in my area here where people are outdoors a lot. And so, it's easy to tell them to avoid the sun, but it's very hard in practice.
Right.
So, we do have to work around certain lifestyle differences for people, but, the building blocks are still there. They're still the same. It's always prevent as much as you can. Maybe you can't maybe you're not going to lock yourself in a closet, but it doesn't mean that when you play tennis, you can't wear a hat. So if you do, listen, what we do here is we try to solve a problem. You present the problem, we try to solve it. Sometimes the answer is that you have, either through age or because you were born with certain features, there are anatomic differences that can be made that will flatter you. That's where surgery comes in. And then sometimes, well, the anatomy's okay, but it just needs a little enhancement. Well, maybe fillers can help you there. Well, the skin looks really bad. Maybe we need a total reset. Well, something like laser might help you with that, or a deep peel. But most people, when they're younger, they're working around the edges and they're doing prevention. But once you get to surgery, you really need to invest in the other parts as well. Otherwise, you are doing it. I say it's like going to Hawaii, getting on the plane, taking an 18-hour trip from here, landing in the airport, turning around and going home. You went to Hawaii, but you got none of the benefit. You have to do that last little trip in the car to get to the beach, to enjoy it. And skincare, while it doesn't seem like it's so dramatic, is the most dramatic part when everything is said and done, because that's what people see first. They're not going to notice if your neck is repaired if they never knew it was bad in the first place.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
So they really, it's hand in glove. And I will say that all of these things sound new, but I could tell you as an old surgeon, I've been here 30 years. We've been doing this for a long, long time. We didn't have the tools that we have now. We have always understood this, but we were limited by the tools we had. I have textbooks that show Facebooks from 50, 60, 70 years ago. You would be horrified by today's standards, but it wasn't because they were bad surgeons. It's because the tools that they had to enhance, augment, improve their results were not there.
They were limited, correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you've seen decades of evolution, right?
Yes, I have.
From facelifts to fat grafting
Hmm.
to energy-based devices. I mean, you've probably seen it all. But the mission
Yeah.
remains the same, right? Helping people look as vibrant as they feel. So, what excites you most about the future of aesthetics medicine? How do you continue to stay inspired personally and professionally?
Well, it's easy to stay inspired because, the reality is coming to work is the best. When you take care of people well and you meet their expectations and hopefully even exceed them, they they appreciate it. And I hate to say it, but I'm a little vain here. I like the appreciation. I do. I really I feel like I'm doing something that's worthwhile. This is true for my reconstructive practice as well. When you help people, it feels good. So the inspiration is easy. That's not hard. Um, what's interesting to me is that, I often joke with my patients that when you get to a certain level in your career, things start to change. And, I joke with them, I tell them I'm a little bit of a dinosaur, but I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex right now. So I'm at the top of the food chain, but I recognize that one day the idea of doing a facelift is going to be comical. You cut the face and you did what? And you were under and it bled. And no, we're not going to do any of that. The reality is, I think that if you think about our genetic code, every answer to every question we have is in that code. We just need to know how to unlock it. And we're going to do it. It's going to happen. So there will be a time when aging is not what we see today. It's going to be different.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights, number one, and reminding us that the most beautiful results come from authenticity and experience working hand in hand. I truly love this conversation. It turned into so much more than just talking about hyperpigmentation. It really, number one, I got to know you, and I think the world got to know you. And I do think you're humble, and I think you're an incredible, expert at what you do, and surgeon and doctor and physician and researcher and all of the above. But I think it does begin with listening. And so thank you for that.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. You're very kind.
To learn more or schedule a consultation, you could visit pssbocaraton.com, or you could follow them directly on Facebook at PSS Boca Raton. And to experience brighter, more even skin from the comfort of your own home, you can explore Cyspera, the clinically proven pigment correcting system available through leading physicians just like Dr. Cabrera, or online at cyspera.com. You've been listening to A Moment of Zen. This is the Better, Brighter You segment brought to you by Cyspera, where science meets self-confidence. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Cyspera. If skin discoloration is making it hard to find your Zen, Cyspera can help. Stubborn pigmentation, dark spots, and uneven skin tone concerns go beyond the surface, affecting both confidence and self-expression. In a sea of skincare choices, Cyspera stands apart. Backed by science and trusted by dermatologists worldwide, Cyspera is powered by the advanced cysteamine isobonic amide complex, delivering clinically proven results and effectively targeting mild to persistent discoloration while restoring the skin's natural glow. Unlike harsh treatments, Cyspera is formulated for all skin types, including sensitive areas, ensuring visible improvements without irritation. Whether pigmentation is a new concern or a long-standing struggle, Cyspera works in harmony with the skin to bring balance, clarity, and renewed confidence. Cyspera is science-driven skincare for confidence that shines. Find your skin zen and restore your glow with Cyspera today by heading to Cyspera.com.